Towers of Doom, game number 1 between Team Cheese and the Mousequetaires. So, well, we have apparently French team with heavy French influence, the digital Mousequetaires against Team Cheese. So again, I'm gonna run that for at least the qualifiers in the first week of the actual Division S. So the real name of Team Cheese is What Does the Photographer Say? Think about that for a second, and you know why we're calling them Team Cheese. Obviously, their logo is also a big cheese block, so I don't really understand why some casters actually call them What Does the Photographer Say? It's like a bit of a weird thing. Anyways, they're Team Cheese. Shrimp is a market team. Today playing with a sub, by the way. Also, big disclaimer at the start, everybody who's watching the live stream right now has already heard that once or twice, but I am in Spain. I'm not in my own apartment yet. I'm currently still in the Airbnb. I'm going to move into my new apartment in a day or two because currently it doesn't have internet. And unfortunately, the internet that I have here is only a Wi-Fi connection. Don't have to go into why, but that's the only thing that we have right now. So there is a chance that occasionally we're going to have a bit of a frame drop during the game. I don't think it's going to happen too much. So far, we've been really lucky today. Just if it happens, you know what's up. Bit of a story here at first. This is the 3rd Division S qualifier, so we have 2 teams that already through the previous 2 qualifiers qualified directly for Division S. And right now, Team Cheese, they're one of the big favorites in this setup. Samuro first, once again. Now, if you've actually watched all of the other videos, and you know by now that the Samuro Cheese is something that not only out of the box has played several times, but Team Cheese themselves, with Shrimpy, have also shown Samuro quite a bit. So, the Blade Master gonna make an appearance here. We have Towers of Doom as the first map, so oftentimes you will see offlaners banned out, but things changed a little bit. Abatha eliminated now too. And with that we have Zeratul and a Nuburak picked super early. Now the French team with Nuburak, first of all, who has been played quite a bit in the previous qualifiers, but has seen more and more bans against him early on, because he's just so strong with the initiation that he has, and then the follow-up. We're currently having Tracer and Malfurion even on the side of Team Cheese. And, I mean, they really try and justify that name. Out of the Box has been doing the same thing in the previous games. It was actually very, very fun to watch. They could also name themselves We Hate Tanks, because they just don't pick tanks. Normally run a strategy with Leoric in a main tank role, so they can sacrifice him in team fights, and also have another escape tool here. But Team Cheese is all on the Samuro hype train, especially when it comes to maps like Towers of Doom. So, for us, it's interesting to see how the Mousequetaires are actually dealing with this, or Mousequetaires. Garrosh banned out, and we have Jimmy also eliminated. If you're on Tracer, you want to make sure that your opponent doesn't run auto attackers that really pack a punch, and 2 of those that fit that category are, of course, Jimmy and Sergeant Hammer, so both of them not part of this. Tracer also comboed with Malfurion, and is really, really good with that particular hero. ETC and Karazim. Karazim being played more and more right now in the current patch. We have a Nuburak and ETC, for ETC taking very likely the off lane and going into the stage dive so that he can play a pseudo global and then global into the big fights. With the Nuburak, also of course all the dive potential that you have. Karazim, 7-sided follow-up after isolations can be really powerful from him too. We still need a bit of a range damage dealer because so far they're only running melee. Offya and Tyrael. You go up against this much melee, Sanctification sounds like a plan all of a sudden. So, with that said, last pick, last but not least, for the Mousequetaires. What is it gonna be? We need a bit of range damage from them. And the question is, what do you use? Is it gonna be maybe even a Jaina to follow up on that Zeratul Void Prison and all of that they can set up? A little bit more slows in there, but she would live a dangerous life. And they go into Li Ming instead. Still able to deliver that burst damage. A little bit safer here, a little bit more mobility on the hero, of course, too, that you can use. And we're heading into our first game of the best of 3 series. Towers of Doom is the map. Let's jump in and see who delivers on map number 1. Is it going to be Team Cheese or the Mousequetaires? It ain't easy being cheesy. That's the name of the game for Team Cheese. That's their mantra. And on the left side, they're going to try and be very cheesy here on Towers of Doom with Gulnagunar on Malfurion, Azerite on Ophir. We have aka Shrimpy on the Moro, Berghold on Tyrael, and Gia on Tracer. On the right side of the map, the Mousequetaires with Alchemists on Anuburak, Silicium on Karazim, Johnny on Li Ming. Not Johnny Sins, that's Johnny 8 for you. XD on Zeratul, and Apex is playing ETC here. The game is on, and let's find out which team takes the lead in this best of 3. We are in the round of 16 right now, so we would run into the quarterfinals, whoever wins this one. ETC already with a proc rock on level 1. Berghold with a money pick. Big plus from my side. Also a bit of a public service announcement. Money picks are available in the store again. Get them while they're hot. That's all I can say there. So, yeah, it's the best mount in the game. Whoever says they aren't has no idea what they're talking about. There are other good mounts, yes, but the money pick is still the best. With that being said, big question here, of course, is still going to be, how is that Samura? Like, there's a couple of questions. Now, first of all, it comes down to the performance of Tracer. How do you counteract that too? I mean, Tracer has to be careful that she doesn't get locked in. Zeratul, by the way, is eating quite a lot of damage. But so is Shrimpy. And that's a kill against Samuro. So, when it comes to ETC, this is actually a point that I wanted to make with Tracer as well. There's a lot of stuns on the other side with ETC and with also, of course, Anuburak, and then you have Karazim against you that can follow some of those blinks. So the Tracer performance is going to be super important, because if Tracer plays really well, she can do a lot of work and really be a destructive force and get those kills in the back line. But one misstep and you're getting locked down and you get dropped. And then, of course, another thing that we have to watch out for in this game is Shrimpy and Samuro. And so far, he died once topside because of that rotation of Zeratul. But the question later on is going to be, how does the blue team... How much value does the blue team get out of that Samuro pick? And we talked about it. Tracer with the kill. Gets the kill and gets out. Malfurion with the heals is there. And Gia is able to safely retreat here. Great job. Good kill. Great job by him. Level 4 on both sides. And already we're having Samuro still fighting with ETC topside. But Samuro in the late game, that's really the big problem. I also love that Berghold is back on Tyrael. We've seen him mostly on Muradin in the previous series. But right now we have a chance of him actually starting to get a little bit of work done with his Tyrael, which he really, really likes to play. So it's going to be pretty cool to see how much of an impact he can really have with Tyrael, especially considering how heavy that how melee heavy that setup is on the opponent's side. A good Sanctification can do wonders. And also you have, of course, that interplay, that dynamic between Void Prison and Sanctification. One can basically counter the other, depending on how exactly you use it, who uses it first. It's a little bit of a game of chicken. Who uses his ability first, who counteracts the opponent's ability. If you set the Void Prison up early on and then your opponent moves in and drops a good Sanctification, you can negate the whole effect that you're trying to get with that. Alchemists down here. He's actually getting attacked. Needs to be a bit careful. Eats a lot of damage here. And Orphea is already waiting for him as he comes out of the burrow. There's the bomb. And barely gets out. Oh, close call. Barely gets out. As you will hear from any good Tracer player, you just don't always hold back a Tracer bomb up to the last moment when you can finally get the kill in. It's really one of those situations where it's just important to get the consistent damage out through the Tracer bomb. And of course, ideally, you want to create kill opportunities for your team. But you don't want to be in a situation where you just hold that all just over and over again. Shrimpy sitting at the top here, down at the bottom of the map. Heavy pressure right now. I mean, Team Cheese is getting aggressive with this. They're moving in, they're trying to apply the pressure now that the gate is open to the bell tower right away. Good lockdown, nice, good route. Khaldor laying down the lawn here in the early game. Another Tracer bomb comes in and Johnny B is in trouble. Well, trouble, call it dead. Alchemist is also down, Anuburak just got Anuburaked. And even an attempt here with a parting gift to get another kill in. And so far, Team Cheese is just in full control of this. And nearly... Oh, the root again! Khaldor, you little boss right there. And now we're looking at a bell tower that is soon gonna fall once the minion wave moves in and soaks the shots up. And damn, son. Gia as well. I mean, he is dancing around on that Tracer. It's pretty disgusting, to be honest. I mean, it's a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. For us, it's not a lot of fun when you're on the Mousequetaires, because they tear them a new one right now. Well, the red team is losing everything right at this point. I mean, once again, Gia is... Like, look at Gia. He's just jumping from left, right, left. Gets a kill in here, a little bit of damage there. And he is doing insanely well with this. They're trying to go at least for fear. And they might get the kill here. But there's the shield once more. Backhold always ready with the Tyrael. Tracer wasn't even there, still taking the camp. Beltower, the bot lane, has of course already been converted. And guess what's worse than playing against a Samuro on Towers of Doom? Indeed, it is playing against a Samuro on Towers of Doom when your team is already losing the format. Exactly. It's pretty bad. Because all of a sudden you're losing all of your global pressure. And talking pressure, yeah, we're having big shots fired, but talking pressure in particular, you know what we also have? We have basically Tyrael saying like, oh, another kill from Tracer. Tyrael is saying like, screw sanctification, we're gonna go full judgment here. So they go judgment, they get another shot in through the mercenaries, and damn son, the aggression is real. Tyrael with a judgment, Tracer with a bomb, the burst damage is ready, Shrimpy's rotating between lanes on the Samuro, is getting all of that in, and it is just an absolute disaster right now for the Mousequetaires. They're in a situation where they're just losing control of the map. They lose control of the map, they lose control of the bell towers, they lose control of the altars. They're already down to 25 points on the core against 36, and of course, considering how much behind they are, how behind they are in experience, that's another big problem. It's one team that's running the show so far. Once level 10 is in play, that might become a bit of a different story, because then the Mousequetaires have a fighting chance. But at this point, it's difficult. Very difficult, for sure. So again, the attempt to make the play. Level 10s are now in on both sides, and that means that we're having Web and Web. If you have Cocoon, if you have also the Void Prison, and even Mosh Pit here, you have a lot of fantastic tools, actually. Another attempt to go here for the line. Another 2-3 shots fired to the mercenaries, and they are just taking hit after hit after hit. But Mosh Pit actually taken, so not even trying to mirror the global movements that we could see from Samuro, but instead just hoping for one of those big moshes towards the later stage of the game and maybe capitalize on that. That's definitely one way to play this, but it also reeks a little bit of desperation here. They need one of those big ones to connect, and if they do, then they have a chance back into this. But right now, with a 1-level lead, 5-kill advantage, it looks troublesome. XT on the move back. They're going for the interrupt. Aggressive stance, by the way. They're actually going straight for the play here. Backhold is low, has no sanctification, and goes down. And all of a sudden, the Mousequetaires are back to business. Tracer is also in trouble. There should be a stun. And they get it. Even committing the quick and dirty mosh pit to it. There's 1 kill, there's 2 kills. Azerite is at least trying to get 1 altar through and is able to make that happen. But yeah, that's big shots fired. 5 more points. 36-17. This is actually important. I mean, when we have a double altar spawning topside, what normally happens is an even exchange. But in this case, Team Cheese said, like, yeah, let's go full YOLO. Full YOLO, full face, full smoke. Let's go in and try and take them down. And they got punished for it. They're still a level ahead, and they're still with Shrimpy in a position where they can control the macro game as they're trying to take the structures down here. But at least for the time being, the Mousequetaires have opened up another avenue back into the game. And they reclaim the bottom bell tower, so they hold 3 for now. But already the setup is there immediately. XT has actually found Gia. 2 of them sniffing each other's butt a little bit like dogs. Sniffing each other out. But there comes the engage and they're moving away. Silence against Liming and the palm. The palm is perfect. Fantastic setup right there. Liming would have been dead, but here comes now the Void Prison. And the death of Liming at the hands of Shrimpy. Down goes Zeratul, but so does Tracer. The problem is the Silicium is now falling as well. Karazim is dead. ETC and Anubarak, the only 2 survivors, and they're on the run. 9 kills against 4. 13 talents at least ready for both sides. But with this in mind now, we have immediately Shrimpy starting the rotation topside again down to the bottom of the map. 1 camp is already taken. You have 14 seconds for Karazim to be back in business, and that means there is actually a chance that they are going to reclaim another bell tower. It's a small one though. Because yes, the bell tower is going to get dropped low, but they have to deal with all of those minions that were still active on the bot lane, and so therefore they can't really push against the structure just yet. But they can at least put Samuro into position at the top side, where they can start to work on that top fort as well. Down here at the same time, Alchemists again, trying the aggression. Burrow charging in, Shrimpy moving into the middle. And Shrimpy is looking for that bell tower. The channel at the bottom of the map, single altar, by the way, in this objective phase. So far, over and over interrupted. Oh, double altar, my bad. One already channeled through, that's 4 points. And Shrimpy is still in the middle. Here comes the cocoon. Shrimpy can move down. Oh, the kill against Zeratul. Liming doesn't get the resets. Liming is looking for the resets, but instead that, oh my god, Tracer, Gia, you little dirty god right there. Gets the double kill and the judgment. There is no kill like overkill. Backhold goes in, judgment to the face. Feet first, the B steps are there too. Apex has nowhere to run. You can run, you can tighten. They're delaying the kill. They're delaying the kill here. This is actually bad for the Mousequetaires. He needs to kill himself. That's exactly what he tries doing here. Could have moved to the left a little bit quicker, but now it's a staggered death, and we have next to the bottom bell tower, the one in the middle also claimed. And of course now we can just focus on the top side. 16 versus 14. Massive amount of shots now fired through that last altar. 11 against 29. And they're just trying to reclaim them. But Backhull is here. They go for XD. What an absolute disaster right now for the Mousequetaires. They're trying to get some map control back. But here's Gia once again. And once Tracer appears on the scene, you know that there is trouble brewing. Gia is forcing them back as Sophia and Samuro are already at the top side. They're going through those structures like a hot knife through butter. Already with the help of the mercenaries, and the barrage is starting in a second. The barrage is starting, the zone out at the bot lane in the middle. Another attempt to reclaim one of the bell towers. One shot fired already. A second one coming through any second. And now, of course, we're also having the tunnels open up. Nearly the kill against ETC. Bottom bell tower barely reclaimed, but it's 9 points against 29. Massive advantage. Boss is still open. 17, nearly 18 against 15. And the damage is just coming in. The French team able to reclaim a second bell tower there. They're trying to be aggressive, but it's difficult for them. The engages through a Nubarak are good, but the damage just doesn't come through. And if you don't get the kill, then you just can't get these resets for Li Ming, and that's the biggest problem that they have. Triple altar phase just as the boss is taken and drops the core down to 5 points. And guess what? With the bell tower at the top, still under the control of Team Cheese, one altar is all they need. One altar, and with Samuro in your hands, that should be a guarantee right there. The hyper-aggressive play from the Mousequetaires right now, it's the only thing that they can do. They have to try and force the issue as quickly as they possibly can, but that also means that they expose themselves. And they're starting to move in. Yeah, they go in for the kill attempt, but ETC is low, and ETC might fall. XD is also low. Backhull jumps in deep. There comes the Void Prison, but Li Ming is down, so is ETC. Zeratul dies, and they're going for a Nubarak next. Gia with another kill, and it's a 5-man wipe as we're having them go straight for those death zones to commit suicide. One of them, two of them, three of them, as Khaldor gets the channel through and ends the game. GG, well played, as Team Cheese takes game number 1 in the best of 3 series. Game number 2, Team Cheese looked pretty good, not gonna lie. They looked fantastic in the first game against the Mousequetaires. And we are going to double check if they can make this a 2-0 series. I mean, again, I could see a ban against Tracer at some point because Gia was just dancing circles around the opponent here. And the idea of having the aggression with the Nubarak, just like attacking with like the follow-ups through ETC, just didn't work out. And as so often, if you have a team that dominates in the first game with the Samuro is usually just banned out. Rightfully so. Team Cheese stays also true with their own ban pattern, immediately eliminating Maiev from the draft, just saying like, yeah, we're not going to play against her, that ain't happening. But I still want to see if there's more adjustments that the Mousequetaires are going to make here. And there's the Tracer ban. Okay, so 2 of the heroes that really gave them a lot of grief in game number 1 have been taken out here. So, with that, Team Cheese could ban maybe even the Avatar if they really wanted to here. I mean, you can think about globals, for example, on Sky Temple. It's definitely something that you have to be a little bit concerned about. So, maybe the Avatar ban. And Probius. Okay, there's a chance that they don't know something that we don't, but we have seen actually a couple of players that played well, or a couple of teams that had decent Probius strategies, as silly as it might sound to people that have not been watching over the last few weeks. The Mousequetaires, on the other hand, with the Abathar first pick. So again, I personally would have expected a ban on Abathar, but we don't get that. And therefore it ends up in the hands of the Mousequetaires as an immediate first pick for them. Team Cheese with a Nuburak, a Greymane, and that is already aggressive. Now again, if you're going into a setup like this, you have one with Greymane. First of all, the ability to take down structures pretty easily. Good wave clear. And you have a lot of burst damage that you can use when a Nuburak sets a kill up for you. So there is a lot that they can do with that setup if they coordinate that well. I mean, Nuburak and other heroes, for me, the question immediately is, where does Liming land now? Because Liming is just such a great counter against Nuburak's Cocoon that normally when you have a Nuburak picked, Liming gets taken on the other side right away. And the Greymane pick from Team Cheese is now more or less countered by the Mousequetaires going into an Arthas and trying through the Frozen Tempest to get those auto attacks slowed down a little bit. And Arthur's Abathar is actually scary. I mean, Arthur's Abathar is... it is tough. You are eating a lot of damage with that. Thrall on top of it too. And Zeratul gets banned out. But I mean... I would still expect at least... I would think about banning out Malfurion, to be honest with you. They ban Hanzo, which is totally fine. But a Nuburak stun into Malfurion, any kind of like... It's not only Malfurion, I mean, you have to think about Tyrande too. Both of them would work really well with the Nuburak setup and with Greymane. If you're trying to get the burst damage through, then Tyrande is even a bit better than Malfurion, just because she has her trait that she can apply here. Okay, Team Cheese. Yeah, they have the name for a reason. Nazebo and the Vikings for Shrimpy. I did not see that coming. Not at all. And the Vikings against Abathar are actually a really scary thing. If you're Vikings against Abathar, it really just... It really exploits the weakness of Abathar in the early game. Tyrande and Reyna to round out the draft. The Arthas and Reyna combo once again strong with the ace in the hole here as the level 1 talent. And damn. That is actually crazy. Okay, what do you last pick after you pick Nazebo and the Vikings? Do you need a support? Well, apparently not. So the draft drops, but that means that we are still going to continue with the last pick. So guys, we're going to jump into that game in just a second, and I guess we're going to find out then what that last pick is going to be. But as it stands, we have a pretty crazy draft incoming. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll be back in the game in a second, despite this little technical difficulty that the players are just experiencing here. The game is on, and after a little technical malheur, we are now on Sky Temple, and guess what? Support, yeah, they kind of felt they needed something, but they didn't want to go for full-fledged support, so instead Team Cheese went for Medivh. Played by Gia now, we have Bakult on Greymane, Azerite on Nazebo, Shrimpy on the Lost Vikings, and Gal Neguna on Nuburak. And on the right side of the map, we have the Mousequetaires, down 1 game in the best of 3 series here at the Division S qualifier, with Alchemists on Arthas, Silisium on Tyrande, we have Johnny B on Reyna, XD on Abathar, and Apex is playing Thrall. This is going to be an interesting one. As so many of the games that Team Cheese plays, it's going to be an interesting one. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Good job, Khaldor. The sky is blue, water is wet, and Team Cheese games are interesting. So, yeah. Now that Captain Obvious has left the building, we're currently looking at the top lane here, where Azerite is actually nearly falling, able to move out of this. But it is going to be definitely a little bit... I mean, the interesting part is going to see how exactly are the Mousequetaires going to deal with especially the Viking situation on the map. Vikings in itself are already quite annoying, but if you're playing in Abathur and your opponent is playing Vikings, you can really fall pretty far behind very early in the game if the Viking team plays their cards right. And that's something that I'm currently trying to watch out for. Heavy engages here, by the way. The fuck? That is one way to do it. They actually go for... Who needs Morales for a backdoor strategy? Oh my god. Like, they're gonna die here, but if they do it again, the keep is dead. Holy shit. Okay. Let's unpack this real quickly. You have an Uburak who spawns beetles. You have with Nazeebo and with Greymane, 2 heroes that are very good at taking structures down. And you have Medivh who can simply portal you in. While the Vikings are soaking experience on the map. So what we're currently seeing on the side of Team Cheese is them just trying to get structures. They're just gonna run around trying to get structures whenever they can. And if they portal onto one of the buildings, they have an Uburak just spawning beetles that soak the initial shots of the keep. So they can pretty much do that over and over again. The disadvantage is that you lose heroes, and that in the long run means you are losing experience. But if you're able to take these structures down, that really helps. Now, I have to give the Mousequetaires a little bit of credit here, actually a lot of credit, because they reacted very quickly once they saw that coming. And that is really important, because if you don't, then, let's face it, you just lose that keep in the first attempt. Now, you're going to lose it in the second attempt whenever the blue team gets to that. But I also want to stress that Team Cheese is very unlikely to just completely home in on that strategy without having other options on the map. And already, well, they're setting that up. They have, yeah, and they're gonna get it. Then they can just simply move out, but this one is gonna fall. The question is just how many kills do you get of this? You're waiting for, of course, the the portal to come back, but this is a goner. This one is down, and now the question is, can someone escape here? They're portaling already. They're trying to go into a hero, get maybe even a kill, but there's the kill against the Nazeebo, and Uburak gets out. But Greymane is dead. So 2 heroes lose their life. That gives an experience lead over to the Mousequetaires. But damn, son, talking about a cheese strat. And in the meantime, they're still soaking experience through the Vikings. Oh boy. This is gonna be nuts. Now, for now, it still works. Medivh is able to walk to get... Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, for a second I thought he died. But yeah, it was only Balog that died. So 1 keep is already down. That itself, I mean, catapults are now, of course, already spawning. And that's an issue. But keep in mind, this is still just only 1 catapult spawning. So it's only 1. Because you have to eliminate fort and keep for catapults to go spawn with every single wave. So it's now only 1 catapult in 3 waves that spawns here. But on this map, it's highly important that you take structures down directly, and that's exactly what they do. And as they're showing here, they also have the pressure against heroes. They nearly take down Arthurs, and that's despite the fact that Abathur is helping out with this. Team Cheese is going full fiesta with this one. And they are doing a lot of work already early. Now, the big advantage when you're taking down keeps like this is it's very easy for you to take your opponent's forts down eventually, because they are just the outer line of defense and you can easily drop that. One of the problems that they're going to face now is that Abathur on level 7 obviously picked Mule. So whenever they're going to try and make an attempt into the back, like a backdoor attempt like this again, they have to deal with the fact that eventually, if they don't take it, Abathur is going to mule it up. That's only going to happen though if Abathur isn't dead, and in this case he actually dies. So they once again use the fact that they have the portals here, easily kill Abathur, move out after the kill, and so far so good. And look at experience all of a sudden. It's actually changing in their favor. It's significantly changing in favor of Team Cheese. They are cheesing this hard. And now they have the push power at the bottom of the map too. going straight in with this. I mean, we talked in the draft a bit about how they have the engage potential now with Nubarak and how they have that pressure against structures through Greymane, and they are just taking that to a completely different level. But there's another kill here too. They kill Abathur, they kill Tyrande, now they're half a level ahead, they have taken the keep down. Yeah, Thrall has taken the fort at the top side and is now trying to get a little bit damage done over here too, but still, this is getting absolutely bonkers right now. And of course, with the wall here taken, they can also try and drop the fountain to make it more difficult for the Mousequetaires to do anything about the bottom shrine that's spawning right now. Cap at the top side is now coming into play. Azerite is still trying to push this out pretty easily for him too, but the control at the bottom of the map is already there. And guess what? Only one team has level 10 abilities. It's only one team right now. So with that, we're having them heading straight into Cocoon. We have already the Cursed Bullet. And they're just going for the structure. The temple isn't even active yet, and already we're seeing the fort drop hit points. And the Vikings are still getting XP everywhere. Down here, Cocoon is on the ground. They're trying to get more. They're trying to go for Jimmy, and Jimmy is dead. And he's not the only one. Tyrande can't run from this. Nah, she's gonna fall as well. Tyrande is gonna fall, and we're gonna see that fort being eliminated too. Tyrande is getting wrecked slowly and steadily. He's actually juking really nicely. I like that. There's no way she survives. Oh, nearly! Oh, she dies, but yeah, there's the ley line, there's the Thrall Earthquake. Shortly before that, now the Vikings are pushing the top side. One of the Vikings already making sure that the fort at the bot lane falls. The one in the middle is low. They're trying to go for the Thrall copy and take that down, but now they can easily move into the middle and drop another one. Structures are falling everywhere right now. Team Cheese is all over the place. They're to your left, they're to your right. They are everywhere at this point. I mean, this is actually crazy. They're under your bed, they're in your cupboard, they're in your PC, I mean, they're in your girlfriend's bedroom. Team Cheese is everywhere. It's honestly getting insane. I mean, how do you deal with this? You have to get kills, but so far the kill count is actually pretty even. If you think about it, the only kills that the Mousequetaires got so far were the kills they got, like, that resulted, or the resulting kills after the backdoors. On the map itself, they haven't gotten a single kill yet. So this is getting absolutely insane. There's a kill against Medivh, and it's a great one too. Stacks are reset. That was the perfect one. That's fantastic, actually. That was really well done. Okay, so they get the kill again against Medivh just before he finishes the stacks. So now the reset. Gonna make it much harder for him to get the damage out in the long run. But you look at the mini-map, and I mean, we are talking 3 structures already down. 2 forts and a keep are eliminated. Now, of course, always the question, when is that top fort fall? Where is that top fort gonna fall? And I mean, we're still seeing Balog start to push that in. But that's the problem right now. You're dealing with Abathur right now. And Abathur's mule is strong. What's also strong is poison. And down goes Greymane. Now, the one thing that I want to throw out there as well is, like, we're thinking a lot about now the early game, right? We're thinking about, like just simply portaling in, taking a hero down, like with Abathur earlier. We're thinking about trying to get more structures. Good kill again. Mousequetaires definitely fighting back. But keep in mind that with this entire setup with Vikings on the map that can really just dominate the macro game later on, you're also looking at Nazeebo, who's currently sitting at 60 stacks on the baseline. So there's a really good chance that later on in the game, Nazeebo is going to just get his 20 and is going to absolutely dominate. I like what we're having from the Mousequetaires here, going actually for the boss after they got the kill against Medivh. Because they're simply saying, we need to somehow accelerate this game a little bit. We need to make sure that we're getting some kind of momentum here, and so far they haven't really gotten any. So they go for the boss, good timing for them. They go for the bottom now to take the objective, but they're losing out on the top. And once that the top fort has fallen, it means that catapults are pushing with every single wave on the top lane. And on top of that, you add the pressure through Vikings alone, and you see that there is a huge, huge problem. Talking Vikings, I mean, we're already seeing another take in here, another camp eliminated. And there's heavy pressure at the bottom of the map right now. And this is exactly what the Mousequetaires have to do. They have to somehow say, guys, we need to get the pressure in. Let's get some kills. But that boss is 10 minutes. It's too early. It doesn't just do as much damage as they need for this. They barely make it through the wall here. And now Thrall with the Earthquake. They're probably going to try and take a fight, but also Azerite moving back, and now that Keep is starting to attack heroes. Top side, pressure against the core is going to happen soon. Cocoon is on the ground. Alchemist is being low. They're trying to make the play right now. They're going for it. And they might actually lose Arthas. The Nubarak barely survives, but Arthas himself is low. XT is losing the copy on Thrall, but they get the keep. They get the keep. And there's no counter kill yet. Apex is rushing away here. There's the ley line, baby. And that's the moment. Here comes the portal. They're trying to go in, go out, and they can't get a kill yet. But at the top of the map, there's a massive, massive push against the keep right now. But again, there's mules in play. You have a mule, and if Abathur is on the map with mule, then simply just doing a little bit of damage against the core doesn't mean anything. You need to drop that baby. Need to drop it completely. Also, talking about dropping things, Alchemist gets dropped hard. Nice flank here from Azerite, making sure that there's no way for Arthas to actually move out of this. Now the core is going to take damage soon, but it's about the middle of the map that's really the problem. Shrimpy already pressuring this with 3 heroes. And in the meantime, yep, there's the portal again. They're going in. Galnaguna. Fuck was that? That's what I call a professional suicide. I'm not quite sure what his thought process was there. Maybe a little bit indecisive. Do we go left? Do we go right? A little bit of core damage, a little bit of keep damage, and we're out, boys. So I think originally the idea was to simply go for another keep, but that didn't work out in the slightest. And I think the call at some point was to switch the target and go instead for one of the... had to go for maybe for one of the heroes, but whatever the plan was, that didn't work out whatsoever. Now, this one is still active, by the way, so it can definitely be captured, but the game is currently being delayed a little bit. And the more the game is delayed, the more space on the map the Vikings have to do their thing, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. So there is still a fort in the middle of the map for Team Cheese. And now there's the constant poke and fighting down here. Oh, barely Medivh gets out. Gia is at 23 stacks right now. Leyline, and he's dying. Yep, he's dead again. Once more, the quest reset. But the Vikings are in the mid lane right now. Alright, there's the mule. They need to drag that down as quickly as they can. Mule gets attacked, is down, and now we're having potentially another keep falling. And Abathur is still dealing with this. Down here at the bottom of the map, the big fight is happening though. Cocoon is ready, Alchemist is in play, and the middle keep is about to fall. Or is it? Because Thrall is taking down 2, and they're taking down 3. The keep is still there, but down here, it's even more heroes falling for Team Cheese as they lose Nazebo. Medivh is dead, so is Nazebo, and 3 Vikings are down as well. And with that, we're all of a sudden seeing the Mousequetaires look towards the core, and they're saying like, hey guys, maybe we can pull something off here. But there's 3 catapults on the core now too. Are they going to make the play? Medivh is back in 1 second. I'm not quite sure if they can go for core here. I mean, it's 12 kills against 5, but still, you go for core at this point? That seems a little bit ambitious to me, to be honest with you. Especially since we're having already Medivh there, but well, they get the kill against the Nubarak. Gia not able to save him, and so now the core is starting to fall. Mule, Mana Mule is being dropped. A big FU in the face of Team Cheese, as the Mousequetaires are saying, you're not going to cheese us that easily, but here's the ley line. They're trying to go for Thrall. Apex! Oh, he's down, but the core is down to 28%. 22! 22! It's down to 5, 3, 2, 1, and oh my god, Abathur. The kill is there, and we are heading into game number 3. Game number 3. We had a crazy second game, as you could just see on Sky Temple, and I actually think that if Team Cheese would have been a bit more decisive in some of their decisions, they could have won that. Especially as the Mousequetaires moved towards that core. It looked for a moment as if Team Cheese had a very, very good chance of defending that, but then a Nubarak dies, and all of a sudden, it's just not enough to stop that onslaught. But as it stands, the reaction out of the Mousequetaires was actually pretty amazing. That they identified early on that they need to take the initiative here, they need to push through the bot lane, and they need to end the game as quickly as they can. Because the longer the game goes, the more of a threat Nazebo becomes, the more impactful the Vikings on the opened up map become too. Now we're going into the last and final map in this series, and it is Tomb of the Spider Queen. we have Team Cheese with the traditional Maiev ban for them, eliminating her as quickly as they can. And on the other side, after the game on Towers of Doom, the Mousequetaires are saying, we're not going to deal with that Tracer again, because Gia just was a bit too good on that. So now, heading into this, we have Sergeant Hammer banned out as well. And Tomb of the Spider Queen, again, a map where you can build up a lot of momentum through wave clear that you can add. And we've seen that previously when Team Cheese was actually facing off against Out of the Box. Well, it's a pretty big fight, pretty big battle between the two teams there too. And Team Cheese actually lost that map. So they are now on territory where they have to be a bit more cautious. And the Mousequetaires, I mean, if you watch the Nexus Cup, if you watch the Nations Cup, then you know a lot of the players that are playing on that side. So the French team is definitely not a team that you can underestimate. If you give them a chance, if you give them an opening, they're going to take that. They did it on Sky Temple, and they're going to do it on Tomb of the Spider Queen if they get the opportunity. So now Garrosh banned out here. And what does that leave us as the potential first pick here? I mean, Hanzo taken right away. We could see Junkrat as well. When you're looking at Tomb of the Spider Queen, there's of course multiple ways on how you can play that. You can really focus on just getting quick kills through rotations between the mid and the top lane. You can try and dominate the turning points completely through that as well. Focus a bit more on the wave clear. But also adding interrupt potential against your opponent's turn-ins can be really, really helpful, because you will run the objective over and over again if you can deny it to your opponent. But now we have a Nuburak with Jaina immediately from the get-go. So that means that right now we are looking at a lot of burst damage coming through if the Mousequetaires can set that up. Well, they tried something a little bit similar on the first map. Didn't quite work out. They also didn't have Jaina in that setup, so they didn't have that burst damage behind it. But the idea here is pretty much the same. Try and set the Nuburak stun in, get Jaina in, potentially Ring of Frost, but even without it, just Cone of Cold Blizzard is already going to do a lot of work. And on the other side, we have Team Cheese now with Johanna, so we have Backhold with the option of simply getting the wave clear in again. Hanzo, Malfurion already, so you have the roots that he can put down immediately. And with that, obviously, you can now also follow up with a bit of extra damage on your own through Burst. And Alarak gets taken out. I mean, Shrimpy doesn't have a hero yet. And so far, the big question was always, what's Shrimpy gonna play? I wouldn't really mind to see something pretty standard and see maybe something along the lines of Liming here and just see Shrimpy again try and pop off on Liming. He played the hero already in the previous best of 3 on this particular map. And here's the ban against Tyrande. So now what Team Cheese did is they eliminated Malfurion and Tyrande as options for the Mousequetaires. Because with the Nuburak, you want to have a follow-up stun. You want to have something that can follow up on a Nuburak's Burrow Charge, Engage, and the Impale Engage. And Tyrande is, of course, the primary support if you're trying to get the Hunter's Mark in and a quick just burst damage against the hero and just pop that guy like a pimple. Malfurion would be number 2, but both of them are taken away. But with Reyna and Blaze, you now have not only a second stun setup through Blaze's jet propulsion, you have at the same time with Jimmy also a hero that will capitalize not only on Jaina's slows, but also on the oil spill. So there is a lot of synergy here between the heroes already. Good stun setups for Jaina to get the damage through, a lot of slows that come in that really help Jimmy pack a punch too. Very well-rounded draft for them already. And we have Junkrat for the interrupts, as mentioned before, and see Thrall on the offlane. Shrimpy actually playing Thrall here. Whereas the Mousequetaires, they still need a support, and I'm pretty sure they're actually going to add one. Not quite the same setup that we saw from Team Cheese, and it is Ana. So Jaina becomes even a bit more terrifying than she already was in this setup. And we're heading into the final map. Tomb of the Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen, here in the round of 16 of the 3rd Division S qualifier. Game number 3, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Team Cheese on the left with Backhold on Johanna, Galnagunar on Malfurion, aka Shrimpy on Thrall, Azerite on Hanzo, and Gia on Junkrat for the final game in this series. And on the right side of the map, the French team, the Mousequetaires, with Alchemists on Nuburak, Silicium on Ana, Johnny B on Jaina. We have XD on Reyna and Apex on Blaze. It is gonna be an interesting game, because there's everything on the line right now. If you want to make it into Division S, then you have to perform as well as you can during these qualifiers. Team Cheese has already accumulated a lot of points, so chances are that even if they don't win a qualifier, they will still qualify through the standings. So in case that you weren't aware of that, like the qualifiers, the way the qualifiers work, we need 8 teams for Division S. There's 4 qualifiers. The teams that win a qualifier are automatically qualified for Division S, so 4 teams, that's it. And we need another 4, and those 4 are determined through a point system, through a ranking. So the farther you go in a qualifier as a team, the more points you gain, and then after those 4 qualifiers, those points are being added up, and the top 4 teams in the ranking will advance to play in Division S as well. So that's only a system that is going to be used for the first season of Division S. Obviously that system changes a little bit when we're heading into the season number 2. But with how well Team Cheese has done so far in the previous qualifiers, there's a really good chance that they're actually ending up in a spot where they will qualify one way or another. But it's still important to them that they are making as much headway as they can. Of course, a direct qualification would be the best, but if they can at least reach the next round, that would be great for them, because those points really, really matter. So, Apex at the bot lane is already getting pressured heavily from Shrimpy, but obviously with that much pressure on the bottom of the map, your thoughts are usually on the Siege Giants. Because that's something that you're trying to pull off here, you're trying to get those Giants early. We've seen a lot of teams sniff that out and then make a rotation happen on their own to deal with that, and currently we're seeing something very similar from the Mousequetaires. They know something's coming here. And already, Alchemist is eating a bit of damage. Apex gets it. Oh, and that was a close call. That was actually really close. If he gets onto the point, they might have to fight over it, but as it stands, that wasn't quite the problem. So with that done, we're having now the Siege Giants under control of Team Cheese, so they're having a bit more pressure at the bottom of the map, and that means that more heroes of the Mousequetaires will have to stay at the bottom to deal with that threat. Whereas we are seeing the freedom of roaming between the lanes on the side of Team Cheese, who can now easily make that happen. But Blaze is eventually going to deal with those Siege Giants at the bottom of the map. Ah, we have actually armor taken. Look at that. Behemoth armor on level 4 for Reyna. Didn't quite expect him to do exactly that, to be honest. I mean, again, if you're getting that constant damage in throughout fights, then you will benefit from a higher hit point pool, and that's a bit easier for you if there's burst damage coming your way. But at the same time, the cooldown reduction on the Fight or Flight is just fantastic. So, yeah. Not quite the choice that I expected, but a choice that we have seen in the past as well. With that said, Ana actually not going into the Piercing Darts build, but instead Biotic Grenade full on level 1, and heading into the same then with the Biotic Enhancement on level 4 as well. So not relying on the quest talent on level 1 here, which would of course help to keep her a little bit safer in the backline. But we'll see how much that actually is going to matter here, because so far Ana, again, the whole setup that we're seeing on the side of the Mousequetaires is them trying to be aggressive. They want to be the ones that initiate the fights, not the other way around. You don't want to be initiated on, you want to be the ones that just make the moves here and say, okay, we got this. And that's exactly what we're having here. And Nubrak dives in deep, and they get the kill against Johanna. The synergy with the slow and the extra damage coming through already, but the counter kill against Jimmy, as we have Junkrat creating another kill opportunity and pushing Jimmy deep in. 3 minutes and 54. Great actually here for Shrimpy. Very early able to complete his Echo of the Elements, and that's actually pretty commendable considering that he's up against Blaze here on the bot lane. Would have expected Apex to try and take a bit more of a stand and try and disrupt him. In that, couldn't make that happen. And uh-oh, Blaze is in trouble. Jet Propulsion's already on cooldown, was masterfully interrupted by Galnagulnar with the root, and that's a quick kill again against Blaze. And that's of course also a couple of gems lost here once again, and that's starting to become a problem. Team Cheese with great moves in the early stages. Johnny B with a turn-in attempt, but keep in mind we talked during the draft already about the interrupt potential, and there it is. Grenades all day long, right there. So we'll see how exactly that's going to work in the long run, because, well, that is going to be a big issue regardless of what time in the game you're actually talking about. Because, well, if you are in a situation where you just can't turn in because your opponent with Thrall, Thrall 2, with Johanna, Thrall, with Junkrat, and also with Hanzo is able to interrupt your turn-in attempts the entire time, then eventually you're going to lose a lot of the pressure that you're trying to build up, or your opponent can simply push that through. So yeah, 37 gems already turned in, 48 in their hands. And they're going to try and get that first turn in pretty early, and the poke is still continuing, and they're starting to really claim the position on the map. There's a bit of an attempt to go for Thrall at the bot lane, but Shrimpy dodges, and now all of a sudden Apex is in trouble. Here's the root, does Shrimpy get the hits in? There's the wolf, and there's the kill. No gems were lost, but still another kill, more experience in the hands of Team Cheese, and they are able to get that quick hit right there. Alright. Azerite moves in, Johnny. Ooh, that's another big one, and Nubarak doesn't even connect the stun against Hanzo. Oh, yeah. 4 kills against 1 and level 10 in the hands. I heard earlier, by the way, that Ana was a bit reworked. I mean, I said it before, like, I just moved, I said it as we're heading into game number 1. I just moved to Spain, so I didn't really have the time to read through all of the changes here. Still pretty busy with looking for apartments and preparing the move now that I signed the lease for one. So I'm not quite up to date with the latest patch and all of the reworks there. So the Ana rework apparently really coming in for that. But yeah, there's the explanation, if you guys were wondering. Been pretty busy over the last couple of days trying to find a place, and also setting, like dealing with the Spanish bureaucracy was a little bit more tricky than expected, to tell you the truth. Also a little bit more tricky than expected was Team Cheese is throwing at the Mousequetaires here, because so far there's one team that gets most of the kills, and that's actually Team Cheese. They're really putting in the pressure now. They had a lot of turn-in interrupts through not only the scatter arrows, but also the grenades that we've seen coming in from Hanzo. And with that, we're now seeing them claim not only the keep or the fort in the middle of the map, but they're also going for the one at the bottom. Another attempt to go for Apex, but this time he's able to walk out of the roots. The problem is that the Web Weavers, together with those Siege Giants, have now taken down the bottom fort, and the one in the middle has fallen as well. All of this comes at the hands of an early level 10 ability, but we have the Mousequetaires finally able to get their own heroic ability, and with that we're now seeing that setup with a Ring of Frost. But it doesn't stop there. The top lane gets attacked too. So now that fort is on half HP. Backhold is still zoning the opponent here quite nicely, and they're putting the pressure onto Alchemist on his Anubarak. There's even the Riptide being committed to. In comes the damage through the Blessed Shield and the Riptire. That drops Jaina. She's down, and this is just brutal. 5 kills against 1, and Team Cheese is on their way to the next round of the tournament here. They're not quite there yet, but if things continue the way they do right now, then that is going to be inevitable. But a good move against Backhold. Has the Iron Skin still available. Cocoon is on the ground against Hanzo. Can they walk away from this? That's the question. Shrimpy is still fighting. Backhold is low. Gets the heal though. Anubarak dives in deep. They need to win this. If the mouse gets... Yeah, then they do. There goes Johanna. The Mousequetaires with the play. They go for Shrimpy. Sundering is being used. He can't die. 43 gems for them. If he falls, that would be a nightmare. But they hold on to the gems. They still have 74. And the opponent is sitting at a 72. It's a bit of a turn-in attempt. Alchemist is starting to move in. I mean, this is really the setup where the Mousequetaires have to finally start and get some momentum going for themselves, and that would come through a turn-in. But they are already behind an entire level and talent, so if they can't turn in now, then it's going to be super tricky. XD at least delivers his gems, but oh my god, Anubarak gets taken down. Apex is in trouble. 50 gems for him. There's the arrow. It's a massive arrow, and they're getting the kill against Ana. Ana is down. They're going for the kill against Jaina, and they nearly take down Apex as well. He jet propulsions away, but barely. 3 heroes are down. Azerite is moving in. XD is low, gets slowed, but they can't get the kill. The fort is there and slows everybody down, but still only 50 gems in the hands now of the Mousequetaires. And a turn-in opportunity, obviously, once more for Team Cheese, as we see Schwimpy delivering all of his gems. Gia is still sitting down at the bot lane with the Siege Giants, and it is rough going. Rough times here for the Mousequetaires. 32,000 damage for Reyna, 36k for Hanzo. We have now another wave of web weavers coming in for the blue team, and they still hold on to that extra talent. Already the collapse attempt onto Schwimpy, that didn't work out. He simply dodges out on it, and now they're trying to turn things around. There's a 5-man. Sundering is in. There is no jet propulsion for you, buddy, but he still has the bunker, so he's still fine. Arrow into the back line, and both of the damage dealers are suffering, and they're not the only ones. In comes Backhole, drop the quick blessed shield. Everybody moves away from the Mousequetaires, but everybody is super low in hit points too. So they are taking a bit of a beating. And of course, with a focus on the bot lane, that also means that the top fort is going to fall. The web weavers are going to have an easy time there, dropping that. And here at the bottom of the map, the Siege Giants, the catapult, the web weavers, everything is homing in on the keep itself. And they might be able to get it. They're already looking for another kill here, and they have the Riptire. They can try and use the Riptire already. Alchemist in trouble. Ring of Frost, though! Oh, but Azerite jumps out. Hanzo is still alive, is able to get away, and that is a pretty easy keep right there. The keep in the mid lane is also taking damage, and Team Cheese is showing no mercy. They are not showing any mercy whatsoever. Double keep down, and this is just an absolute brutal stomp by Team Cheese. They're putting their foot down here right now. 8 kills against 2, 16 against 13. They go in again into the deep with a condemn, and the kill against Blaze. They keep those gems, but XD is barely getting out, and Uberak ain't that lucky. The core itself is already down to 50% HP, and this is it, ladies and gentlemen, as Team Cheese once again goes in and drops another team in their attempt to qualify for Division S.